My dad mocked me as a loser while my family used my name to open credit cards, but when I cut them off, their whole world crashed without me. Name's Owen, 28, male. I was 3 knuckles deep in my mom's transmission fluid when my life imploded. Saturday afternoon, November cold. I'd been under that hood for 2 hours trying to figure out why her Camry sounded like a dying accordion every time she shifted gears. I'm the family mechanic, also the family IT guy, bank, and apparently the family punching bag. I've been fixing cars since I was 15. By 17, I could rebuild an engine. By 20, I was doing side work for neighbors and pocketing decent cash. Now I'm 28, working as a network security analyst, making solid money. But I still spend my Saturdays fixing family cars because, God forbid, they pay an actual mechanic. My sister's Honda needed new brake pads last month. My brother's truck needed a new alternator in September. And today, Mom's transmission was slipping. I grew up in a house where nothing was ever enough. My dad worked construction until his back gave out when I was 19. Since then, he's been on disability, sitting with soda cans on the couch and offering unsolicited life advice. My mom works part-time at a dental office. She's not the problem. She's just collateral damage. My sister Paige is 25 and has never held a job longer than 4 months. Instagram influencer mindset without the followers. Living at home since dropping out of community college 3 years ago. Claims she's finding herself mostly. She finds new ways to ask me for money. My brother Shane, 23, is marginally more useful. Works at a distribution warehouse, plays video games until 3 a.m., contributes exactly nothing to household expenses despite living there rent-free. So, there I was, Saturday afternoon, transmission fluid under my nails, trying to diagnose why this car sounded like it was grinding its own gears into dust. I had my toolbox spread out on the driveway, shop towels scattered around, and my old Carhartt jacket getting more stained. My mom came out around 2 p.m. with a sandwich and a Coke. "You don't have to do this, sweetheart. We can take it to a shop and pay $300 for what I can fix in an afternoon." "Nah, I got it." She smiled. "You're a good son." What I didn't see was my dad on the front porch holding up his phone, filming me for 30 seconds while I leaned over the engine bay. Around 4 p.m., I finished up, topped off the transmission fluid, tightened everything down, took it for a test drive, shifted smooth as butter, fixed. I pulled back into the driveway, feeling that small satisfaction you get from solving a problem with your hands. I was cleaning my tools when my phone started blowing up. First notification from my buddy Jordan. "Yo, what the heck is this?" 15 notifications, all Facebook, all on the same post. My dad had uploaded that video. The full 30 seconds of me bent over the engine, wiping my hands on a rag. The caption read, "Look at this loser. He's always been a grease monkey." Lamau. I read it twice to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. My own father had publicly called me a loser for fixing my mom's car, for saving them money they didn't have. The comments were already rolling in. My brother, "Can't take him anywhere clean." Ha ha. My sister, "This is why I don't introduce him to my friends." 23 comments in 30 minutes. All of them piling on. I stood there speechless. Then I realized something. I'd been the family workhorse for over a decade. Fixed their cars, computers, credit scores, loan money I never got back, co-signed for Paige's car that she totaled 6 months later, and they thought I was a joke. My mom came back outside. "Did you fix it?" "Yeah, it's good." I showed her the post, watched her face fall. "He's just joking around. Doesn't feel like a joke. You know how he is. He doesn't mean anything by it." That's the line I'd heard my whole life. Every excuse designed to make me swallow the disrespect and keep playing my role. I didn't argue, just packed up my tools, loaded them in my truck, and drove away. My phone rang 4 times before I hit the first red light. Didn't answer. I drove to my apartment across town, small 1-bedroom I'd been renting for 3 years. I grabbed a soda and sat on my couch staring at that Facebook post, and that's when I made the decision. I was done. If I was a grease monkey, a loser, someone not worth basic respect, then they could figure out their own stuff. I blocked my dad on Facebook, didn't report the post, just blocked him and moved on. Let him keep his little moment of superiority. Sunday morning, I made coffee, scrambled some eggs, and pretended my phone wasn't vibrating itself off the kitchen counter. Around 10 a.m., my buddy Jordan called. I picked up because Jordan actually gives a damn. "Dude, you good? Saw that post your pops made. That was foul." "Yeah, I'm straight. Just done with them for a while." "Don't think, do cut them off and watch how fast they realize you were the only functional person in that house." He wasn't wrong. I told him I'd catch him later and hung up. Went back to ignoring my phone until it buzzed with a text that made me actually laugh out loud. Paige, why can't I withdraw $2,000 from your account? Not, are you okay? Not, sorry about the post. Just straight to the money because of course. 3 years ago, Paige convinced me to open a joint checking account. Over 3 years, she'd pulled out at least $15,000. Concert tickets, designer handbags, restaurant tabs, random online shopping sprees. Every time I checked the account, there was another withdrawal. She said she was borrowing it and would pay me back. Never did, not once. And every time I brought it up, she'd gaslight me into thinking I was being petty. 2 days before the car incident, I'd closed that account. Moved every penny to a new bank. Didn't tell her. I called her. She answered on the first ring. Why is the account closed? Because it's my account, Paige. Not yours. We had a joint account. Yeah, that you drained like a dang ATM for 3 years straight. I was going to pay you back. When? At my funeral? You've never paid me back for anything. She started yelling, called me selfish, called me controlling, said I was abandoning her over one stupid joke, said I was being dramatic, said I was ruining Thanksgiving next week because now there was tension. I let her rant. When she finally stopped for breath, I said, I'm not your bank anymore. Figure it out yourself, and hung up. Wasn't going to sit through the inevitable 15 follow-up texts about what a terrible brother I was, but I wasn't done. I pulled up my banking app and documented every transaction from the past 3 years. Every withdrawal Paige made, took screenshots of everything because something was nagging at me. If Paige felt comfortable stealing 15 grand over 3 years, what else was happening? I pulled my credit report, worth the $20 for another look. 3 credit cards I didn't open. A personal loan I didn't take out. A car loan for a vehicle I'd never seen. All under my name, all with balances. Total damage north of $40,000. I sat there staring at my laptop screen, feeling my stomach drop. This wasn't just Paige being a mooch. This was identity theft. And there was only one person who had access to my social security number, my mother's maiden name, my birthday, my dad. I called Jordan back. I need you to look at something. He came over within the hour. I showed him the credit report. He whistled low. Your pops did this? Has to be. This is fraud, man. You could press charges. I know. Jordan spent the next 2 hours walking me through identity theft protection. We froze my credit at all 3 bureaus, set up alerts, changed passwords, enabled 2-factor authentication on everything. By the time he left, I had a game plan. My phone buzzed. Text from my mom, your father wants to talk to you. I typed back, tell dad I want my $40,000 back. Then we'll talk. Hit send. Turned my phone off. Monday, I went to work like nothing happened. Kept my phone off until lunch. When I turned it back on, there were 63 notifications. Ignored all except one. A voicemail from my Uncle Ray. Uncle Ray is my mom's older brother. 20 years in the Army, retired as a master sergeant, now works as a safety inspector. We'd always gotten along, but never hung out much. His message was short. Call me when you get this. Need to talk. It's important. I called him during my lunch break. He picked up immediately. You got a minute? Yeah. What's up? Not over the phone. Can you meet me after work? I'm at Bravos on 5th Street. Bravos is a restaurant. Not a good sign when family wants to meet you at a restaurant for serious talks. But I said yeah and showed up at 5:30. Uncle Ray was in a corner booth with a cup of coffee. Late 50s, built like he still did PT every morning. Salt and pepper buzz cut. I slid into the booth. He pushed a coffee across the table. Saw your dad's post, he said. Saw you left. Word travels fast. Your mom called me yesterday crying. Said you accused your dad of stealing from you. Didn't accuse him. I know he did. Got the credit report to prove it. I showed him the screenshots. He looked through them without expression. When he finished, he took a long drink of his coffee. How much? 42,000 give or take. He cursed under his breath. That jerk, your dad's been pulling stuff like this for years. Just didn't know he was doing it to you. That caught me off guard. What do you mean? Uncle Ray leaned back. Your old man borrowed 6 grand from me in 2019. Said it was for your mom's medical bills. Told me not to tell her because she'd be embarrassed. Never saw a dime back. Later found out there were no medical bills. Insurance covered everything. He pocketed the cash. Are you serious? Dead serious. And I'm not the only one. He hit up your Aunt Nancy for $4,000. Told her you were sick and needed help with hospital costs. Said you were too proud to ask. She sent him the money. Turned out you were fine, healthy as ever. He made the whole thing up. I felt my jaw clench. He used my name, your reputation. Told people you were in trouble to manipulate them into giving him money. And it worked because people trust you. They know you're a good kid who works hard and doesn't ask for anything. So when they heard you needed help, they didn't question it. Why didn't anyone tell me? Because he told them not to. Said you were embarrassed. Said you didn't want anyone to know. Made them promise to keep it quiet. Classic con artist move. Isolate the victim. Control the narrative. Your dad missed his calling. He should have been selling swamp land in Florida. How much did he take from everyone? From me and Nancy, 10 grand minimum. But there's others. Your cousin's wife, your great aunt, probably more people I don't even know about. If I had to guess, he's pulled this scam for at least 20, maybe 30,000 from the extended family alone. I did the math. 42 from me, 30 from family, $72,000. My dad had orchestrated a one-man fraud operation, and I'd been too blind to see it. What are you going to do? Uncle Ray asked. I don't know yet. Part of me wants to let it go, just cut them off and move on. And the other part wants to burn it all down. Uncle Ray smiled. Not a happy smile, a knowing one. I was hoping you'd say that. He reached into his jacket and pulled out an envelope, slid it across the table. Inside was $1,500 in cash. What's this? Your aunt and I have been saving it for the past 6 months. We knew something was wrong. Knew your dad was up to something. Figured you'd need it eventually. Consider it a down payment on getting your life back. I stared at that money. Couldn't remember the last time someone gave me something without expecting anything back. I can't take this. You can and you will. Use it for a lawyer. Use it for whatever you need, but don't use it to help them. They're done bleeding you dry. I took the envelope, slipped it in my jacket. Thank you. Don't thank me. Thank yourself for finally waking up. He finished his coffee. Now, here's what you're going to do. You're going to file a police report. Dispute every fraudulent account. Get a lawyer and make sure your name gets cleared and you're not going to feel guilty about it. What if they fight back? Let them. They know what they did. They're just hoping you're too scared or too guilty to do anything about it. Prove them wrong. We finished our drinks. Uncle Ray paid before I left. He grabbed my shoulder. One more thing. You need a place to stay for a while. You're welcome at our place. Guest room's empty. No rent. No questions. Just somewhere safe while you figure this out. I got my apartment. I know, but the offer stands. I nodded and walked out. Got in my truck and sat there for a minute. My phone had 14 new texts. Didn't read them. Just drove home, opened my laptop, and started drafting a police report. If they wanted to play dirty, I'd show them what dirty really looked like. Tuesday morning, I took a personal day from work. Drove to the police station at 9 a.m. sharp. Told the desk officer I needed to file an identity theft report. She handed me a clipboard with a form. 20 minutes later, a detective called me back. Detective Chloe Walsh. She listened while I explained everything. The credit cards, the loans, the accounts in my name. She took notes. When I finished, she asked if I had proof. I handed her a flash drive with every screenshot, every credit report, every bank statement. This is extensive, she said. You know who did this? My father. He's the only one with access to all my personal information. And he's been running cons on the family for years. Are you prepared to press charges? This goes criminal. That's your father in court. Potentially prison time. I thought about every car I'd fixed, every loan I'd given, every time I'd been the reliable one. And I thought about that Facebook post. Yeah, I'm sure, she nodded. All right, I'll open a case. We'll start with the credit accounts. This is going to take time. Weeks, maybe months. And your family's not going to be happy. It's all right. I don't want them happy. I filed the report, signed all the paperwork, got a case number, walked out feeling lighter and heavier at the same time. I got to my truck and checked my phone. 29 new texts. I scrolled through without opening and then one from a number I didn't recognize. This is your father. If you go through with this, you'll regret it. I screenshot that. Sent it to Detective Walsh with a note. He's threatening me now. Got a reply within 5 minutes. Noted. Keep screenshots of everything. I drove to Uncle Ray's house instead of going home. He answered the door holding a sandwich. Filed the report? He asked. Yep. He nodded. Good. Come on in. Nancy made lunch. I spent the afternoon at their place. Aunt Nancy was Uncle Ray's opposite. Soft-spoken, worked as a school librarian, made the best food on the planet. She hugged me when I walked in and didn't ask questions, just fed me and let me exist. Around 3 p.m. my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to pick up. Is this Owen? Yeah. Who's this? This is Monica Coleman. I'm an attorney specializing in family fraud and identity theft cases. Your Uncle Ray gave me your info. Said you might need representation. Uncle Ray gave me a thumbs up from across the room. Sneaky guy had planned ahead. I might, I said carefully. I've reviewed the preliminary documents Ray forwarded to me. If half of what's here is accurate, you've got a strong case. I'd like to meet with you tomorrow if possible. My office 10 a.m. no charge for the consultation. I agreed. Hung up. Looked at Uncle Ray. You called a lawyer before I even filed the report. I called a lawyer 2 weeks ago when your mom let it slip that your dad had been borrowing your credit. I've been waiting for you to wake up. I thanked him and drove home. Got to my apartment around 5 p.m. The front door was unlocked. I knew I'd locked it that morning, but the deadbolt was undone and the door pushed open easy. I walked in slowly. Living room looked normal. Kitchen looked normal. Bedroom door was open. Everything was destroyed. Mattress flipped. Dresser drawers dumped. Clothes scattered. My laptop was gone. My backup hard drive was gone. The cash I kept in my nightstand was gone. But they'd left my TV, left my Xbox, left everything obvious. I called Detective Walsh. She sent a patrol unit within 20 minutes. 2 officers took photos, dusted for prints, filed a report, asked if I knew who did it. I said I had suspicions. They said suspicions weren't evidence, but they'd investigate. After they left, I called Uncle Ray, told him what happened. He didn't seem surprised. Pack a bag, he said. You're staying here until this blows over. Heck no, I'm not running. Shut up, kid. You're not running. They broke in once. They'll do it again. And next time you might be home. He had a point. I packed enough clothes for a week and drove back to his place. Aunt Nancy had made up the guest room. Clean sheets, extra blankets, towels laid out. She gave me a key to the house and told me to come and go as I pleased. That night, I couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about my apartment, about my stuff scattered everywhere, about how far my family was willing to go to keep me quiet. Around midnight, I got a text from Jordan. Yo, your sister's losing her mind on Facebook. I opened Facebook for the first time in 2 days. Paige had posted a long rant. Called me ungrateful. Said I was tearing the family apart over money. Said I'd always been selfish. Said I was dead to her. I screenshot the whole thing, added it to my folder, closed Facebook, turned off my phone, let them burn their own reputations. I was building a case. The next 3 weeks moved fast. Met with Monica Coleman, the lawyer Uncle Ray hooked me up with. She reviewed everything and confirmed what I already knew. I had a solid case. She filed disputes with the credit bureaus, contacted the banks that issued the fraudulent accounts, and started the process of getting my name cleared. Detective Walsh called with updates. They'd pulled surveillance from my apartment building. Clear footage of Shane letting himself in with a key I didn't know he had. Footage of him walking out carrying my laptop. They brought him in for questioning. He cracked immediately. Said Dad told him to do it. Said Dad needed my computer because there were files on it that could be used against him. Shane got charged with breaking and entering. Dad got added to the identity theft investigation. Mom called crying, begging me to drop the charges, saying I was destroying the family. I told her the family was already destroyed. I didn't hear from Paige at all. According to Uncle Ray, she'd went to stay with some guy she met on a dating app in Tennessee. Just packed a bag and bounced. Probably realized she was next on the investigation list and decided to run. Around week 4, the DA's office called. They had completed their investigation. Found enough evidence to charge my dad with identity theft, fraud, and forgery. They offered him a plea deal. 3 years probation, full restitution, financial counseling, and he'd avoid jail time. If he took it to trial and lost, he was looking at actual prison. His court date was set for December 18th, a week before Christmas. I showed up to that courthouse in a button-down and slacks. Looked like I had my stuff together because I did. My credit was being repaired. My lawyer was handling the disputes. My savings, what was left of it, was locked down tight. My dad showed up in a suit that didn't fit right. He'd aged 10 years in 6 weeks. Looked defeated. Good. The hearing lasted 30 minutes. My dad's public defender entered the guilty plea. The judge asked if he understood the terms. He said yes. The judge asked if he wanted to make a statement. He said no. Then the judge ordered restitution of $42,000 to be paid at $500 per month until satisfied. Ordered 3 years probation. Ordered financial counseling. Banned him from opening any accounts or taking any loans without approval from his probation officer. He'd be paying me back for the next 7 years. At his age, with his job prospects, he'd probably still be paying when he died. Poetic justice. After the hearing, I walked out without looking at him. Didn't say a word. Didn't acknowledge his existence. Just left. Outside the courthouse, Uncle Ray was waiting. "You good, kid? How do you feel?" "Honestly, empty." "That's all right. You are done. You'll be good." I drove back to his place. Nancy had made dinner. We ate quietly. No one asked about the hearing. No one pushed. That night, I got a text from my mom. "I hope you're happy. You ruined your father's life." I didn't respond. The court hearing should have been the end of it. Should have been the moment they realized they'd lost and backed off. But my family never did know when to quit. January started with Dad's first $500 payment hitting my account. Right on schedule. Court ordered automatic withdrawal. No way for him to weasel out of it. I didn't feel satisfied exactly. More like confirmation that the system actually worked when you had documentation. 2 days later, I got a Facebook message from some random account I didn't recognize. No profile picture, made that week. Obvious fake account. The message read, "Hope you're proud of yourself. Your father can't even afford his medication now. All because of you." I screenshot it, sent it to Detective Walsh, and blocked it. She called me an hour later. "Your family's attempting to contact you through fake accounts. We can track the IP if you want to file harassment charges." "How bad does it have to get before I file?" "That's up to you, but document everything. These cases sometimes escalate." She wasn't wrong. Over the next 2 weeks, I got 11 messages from different fake accounts. All the same guilt trip garbage. "Your mother's crying every day. Shane lost his job because of the stress you caused. Paige had to leave town because you ruined her reputation. Blah blah blah." I didn't respond to any of them. Just screenshot, document, block, repeat. Saved everything to a folder on my laptop for the lawyer. Then Mom tried a different angle. She showed up at my new apartment in February. I don't know how she got my address. I came home from work and she was sitting in her car in the visitor parking. I walked right past her. She got out and followed me to my door. "Owen, please, just 5 minutes." "Mom, don't do this. Please, just leave. Your father's falling apart. He's depressed constantly. The payments are bleeding us dry." I stopped at my door but didn't turn around. "Sounds like consequences. But he's still your father. Family doesn't steal 42 grand from their kids. Family doesn't destroy their kids' rooms. Family doesn't post them online calling them losers. That's not family. That's a crime syndicate I happen to be born into. You're really going to hold a grudge forever?" I turned around then, looked her right in the eye. "It's not a grudge, Mom. I'm just done. Please, he's sorry. We both are. Then he can be sorry for the next 7 years while he pays me back. And you can be sorry for enabling him my entire life instead of protecting me." I unlocked my door. "Don't come here again." I went inside and locked it. She stood there for another 10 minutes. I could see her through the peephole. Eventually, she left. I texted Uncle Ray to let him know what happened. He said he'd handle it, whatever that meant. March brought a new development. Shane showed up at my gym. Jordan spotted him first, leaned over mid-rep, and said, "Isn't that your brother by the ellipticals?" I looked over. Sure enough, Shane was pretending to stretch, but watching me. I finished my set, wiped down the bench, and walked right up to him. "You following me now? I just want to talk. Last time you wanted something, you broke into my apartment and stole my laptop." "Oh, come on. Dad made me do that. I didn't want to." "You're 23 years old. Plenty old enough to say no. He's drowning, man. The payments are destroying him. Mom's working double shifts trying to cover bills. They're going too. Good. Maybe that'll teach them not to commit fraud. You really don't care, do you?" I looked at him for a long moment. "I cared for 28 years. Fixed your cars, covered your rent, co-signed your loans, listened to your problems, and what did I get? Called a grease monkey on Facebook, and robbed. So, no, Shane. I don't care anymore. And unless you want me to press charges for stalking, you'll leave now." He left. Didn't say another word. Just grabbed his hoodie and walked out. Jordan came over with a protein shake. "Your family's persistent. I'll give them that. You good?" "Yeah, I'm just tired." Around April, the messages got nastier. Someone created an Instagram account and started DMing me photos of my parents' house. The lawn hadn't been mowed in weeks. Dad's truck had a flat tire. The gutters were overflowing. The caption on each photo, "Look what you did." Like their inability to maintain basic property upkeep was somehow my fault. Now I reported the account. It got taken down. Another one popped up 3 days later. Same photos, different account. I stopped engaging entirely. Let them scream into the void. Then in May, Paige came back. Not to town, but to the family drama. She'd been radio silent for months, living in Tennessee with her new guy. Apparently, that fell apart because she showed up at Uncle Ray's house demanding to know where I lived. Aunt Nancy called me immediately. "Your sister's here. She's asking for your address." I told her I don't have it, but she's not leaving. "Call the cops." "Owen, Nancy, call the cops. She's trespassing. She doesn't get to harass you because she can't harass me." She did. The police showed up and told Paige to leave. She screamed at Uncle Ray on her way out. Said he was a traitor for helping me. Said the whole family had turned against her. Never once acknowledged that she'd stolen 15 grand from me or trashed my room or laughed at that Facebook post. Then July brought the final straw. My apartment got broken into again. Different place this time, better security, but someone still managed to get in. They didn't take anything valuable this time, just trashed the place. So, I called Detective Walsh. She came out personally this time, looked at the damage, photographed everything, and sat me down in my destroyed living room. "This is escalating," she said. "They're getting desperate. You need to be careful. What do you suggest?" "Restraining order against all of them. Your parents, your siblings, anyone associated with them. Make it official." I filed the next day. Got temporary orders approved within a week. The permanent hearing was set for August, but we weren't done yet. Not by a long shot. By then, Dad's life had completely unraveled. Uncle Ray kept me updated even though I didn't ask. Dad lost the house. Couldn't make the mortgage payments with $500 a month going to me and Mom working herself into the ground just to cover utilities. Bank foreclosed in late June. They had 60 days to vacate. Mom found a crappy 2-bedroom apartment on the east side. Shane moved in with some friends. Or maybe his girlfriend. I didn't care enough to confirm. Last I heard, he was doing DoorDash to make rent. The warehouse fired him after he missed too many shifts dealing with family stress. His words, not mine. Apparently, having a felon father was bad for job stability. Paige was still in Tennessee, but the engagement fell through, shocking exactly no one. She'd tried reaching out to Dad for money, and he told her he didn't have any, so she stopped calling. Guess blood's not thicker than water when the well runs dry. The restraining order hearing happened in early August. My lawyer presented all the evidence, the fake accounts, the stalking, the break-ins, the threats. The judge granted permanent restraining orders against all of them. 500 feet minimum distance, no contact through third parties. Violation meant immediate arrest, but I still wasn't satisfied because Dad was suffering, sure, broke, homeless, reputation destroyed. But he hadn't actually acknowledged what he'd done. Was probably still telling himself he was the victim in all this. And that just made me angrier. I wanted him to say it. Wanted him to admit he'd messed up. Wanted him to look me in the eye and acknowledge that this wasn't about me being dramatic or cruel or unforgiving. This was about him being a thief and a liar and a terrible father who got exactly what he deserved. The restraining order meant he couldn't come to me, but it didn't stop me from going to him. So, in late August, I decided to give him that opportunity. I drove to the crappy apartment where he and Mom were living. Wednesday afternoon, middle of the day, figured he'd be home since he still couldn't find work. I parked on the street, walked up to the second floor, and knocked. Mom answered. Her face went through about 5 emotions in 2 seconds. "Owen, what are you? Is he here?" She hesitated. "Yes, but, good. I want to talk to him. Maybe this isn't the best time." "It's the perfect time. Get him." She looked like she wanted to argue, but something in my face told her not to. She stepped back and called for Dad. I heard movement inside. Then he appeared in the doorway. He looked like garbage. Lost weight, hadn't shaved in days, wearing a stained t-shirt and sweatpants, eyes bloodshot. He looked beaten down, small. "You wanted to talk?" His voice had that defensive anger. "Yeah, outside. Unless you want Mom to hear this." He glanced back at her, then stepped out, and closed the door. We walked down to the parking lot, stood between 2 cars where no one could hear us. "You happy now?" he said. "Got what you wanted? Destroyed your family? Made us lose everything?" I laughed. "You destroyed the family, old man. I just stopped pretending it wasn't already gone. I made mistakes. You committed felonies. I was desperate. We were drowning in debt. I didn't have options. You had options. You just didn't want to take them. Easier to steal from your son than to get a real job. Easier to scam your family than to downsize your life. Easier to blame everyone else. And you didn't have to press charges. We could have worked it out." "Yeah. How you going to pay me back 42 grand on disability? You going to apologize and make it disappear? You going to undo the credit damage? The accounts I had to dispute? The time I spent fixing your mess?" I stepped closer. You messed around. You found out. That's how this works. I'm your father. You were my father. Now you're just some guy who owes me money. That hit him. I could see it in his face. The realization that he'd lost something he couldn't get back. The son who'd always shown up, always been reliable, always been there, gone permanently. You've changed. You used to be kind. I used to be an idiot. Took me 28 years to figure that out, but I got there eventually. He looked at me with something like desperation. So, that's it. We're done forever. We've been done since you posted that video. Everything after that was just making it official. I didn't mean, yes, you did. You thought I'd take it like the good son I was. Thought I'd keep being your ATM and your mechanic and your punching bag. But you forgot something. What? I'm good at fixing things. And when something's broken beyond repair, I'm good at knowing when to walk away. You're broken, Dad. And I'm done trying to fix you. I turned to walk back to my truck. He grabbed my arm. I looked at his hand, then at his face. Let go. He did immediately, like he remembered I wasn't 18 anymore. Wasn't someone he could intimidate or manipulate. Please, he said. His voice cracked. I'm sorry for all of it. I'm really sorry. I studied his face, looked for sincerity, found desperation instead. He wasn't sorry for what he'd done. He was sorry he got caught. Sorry his life fell apart. But he wasn't sorry. You know what the messed up part is? I said. If you just apologized back in November, if you'd taken down that post and said, my bad. That was awful of me. We might have worked through it. I might have even let the money thing slide if you'd owned it early and made a real effort to pay me back. But you didn't. You doubled down. Sent Shane to rob me. Created fake accounts to harass me. Sent Mom to guilt trip me. Acted like I was the problem for not accepting abuse. I know. I messed up. I know that now. Yeah, you do know. I walked to my truck, got in, started it up. He stood there in that parking lot looking defeated and small and pathetic. I put it in gear and drove past him without looking back. Got home, sat on my balcony with my coffee watching the sunset. My phone buzzed. Text from Jordan. How'd it go? Like putting down a sick dog. Necessary, but not enjoyable. You done now? I thought about it. Yeah, I typed back. I'm done, and I was because I'd gotten what I came for. I'd gotten confirmation that cutting them off was the only rational response to people who'd spent years treating me like dirt. I finished my coffee and went inside. Tomorrow, I'd wake up, go to work, hit the gym with Jordan, maybe grab dinner somewhere decent, live my life without the constant background noise of family dysfunction. Dad would wake up in that crappy apartment and make his $500 payment. Month 8 of 84, 76 more to go. They thought I was a loser, someone who'd always be beneath them, someone who existed to serve. But they were wrong. I wasn't beneath them. I'd been holding them up. And the second I stopped, they collapsed under their own weight. I was the one who got away and they were the ones who'd spend the rest of their lives paying for it.